Thousands are fleeing the Lake Tahoe area as the devastating Caldor Fire threatens the popular tourist destination. Evacuees sat in hours of bumper-to-bumper traffic trying to escape the flames. In more than 2 weeks since the fire started, over 186,000 acres have burned and hundreds of homes and businesses have been destroyed. Anne Makovec from CBSN Bay Area is at a casino near South Lake Tahoe, which is now home to evacuees. Anne, good morning. I can only imagine people are trying to get a little bit of escape going to a resort area, and they're finding themselves having to escape the resort area now.
Yes. Normally, South Lake Tahoe would be packed with tourists this time of year. There's so many rental properties that would be full of people enjoying, what they would hope would be good weather here in California, and it is just not the case. About 22,000 people had to evacuate from this town yesterday, and the roads were absolutely clogged. This one behind me was just at a standstill for hours as people tried to get out of town. Luckily, firefighters had given them enough notice so that everybody was still able to get out before the threat really reached town. And at last word, the fire was still a few miles away, so now it's just a waiting game. The fast-moving Caldor Fire raced toward the popular resort town of South Lake Tahoe Monday. Last night, massive flames were seen on a highway about 5 miles from town. The wind-whipped fire exploded in size over the past 2 days, destroying several homes and part of a ski resort popular during Tahoe's winter season. Crews used snowmaking equipment to try to fight the flames.
Due to the smoke conditions, we're not able to fly aircraft. It's limited our ability to bring all of our tools to the fight.
Those forced to evacuate on Monday faced bumper-to-bumper traffic, with many roadways closed because of the fire. Mel Smothers played his violin to pass the time, and Sarah Ellis had little time to hit the road.
We have to leave most of our belongings behind and just take the important stuff.
The town's main medical facility also proactively evacuated more than 4 dozen patients. The fire reaching Tahoe would be potentially catastrophic, on par with the destruction seen in the town of Paradise in 2018. Tahoe exists in a very high fire hazard severity zone, meaning it is especially vulnerable to wildfires. Officials say the drought coupled with climate change are changing the very vocabulary of California's wildfires.
Historically, we've used the terms such as anomaly, unprecedented, or extreme. These terms are no longer appropriate.
Now, the reason South Lake Tahoe is so vulnerable to fires is just a few blocks from the glitz and glamour of these casinos is small neighborhoods where there are log cabins and older homes that would just go up like a matchstick if the fire does end up reaching town. So that is one of the big concerns. Meantime, the U.S. Forestry Service has actually closed all national forests in California because of the high fire danger, Anne-Marie.
Have you gotten a chance to speak to any of the evacuees that are staying at the casino?
You know, I spoke with a couple of people. Most are sleeping because it's very early in the mornings here in California at this point. But people are, most of them were able to move out of town. A lot of the people that we're seeing here at the casino are fire personnel or other city officials that just needed a place to hunker down but still stay close enough to keep the situation here under control.
And so then in terms of sort of containing this fire as it moves, what are officials telling you? What's being done? Do they think they'll get any help from Mother Nature at all?
You know, I missed the first part of that question, Anne-Marie. I'm sorry. I had a little bit of audio feedback here.
That's okay. Just wondering if
but you did mention Mother Nature, so I think I can answer what you probably asked is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Excuse our delay. The red flag warning we have here in effect is really going to be the deciding point as to where this fire goes. The winds are going to be very erratic, and the problem is that the fire sort of leapfrogs itself. Large embers will end up moving ahead of the fire, and that just is able to move everything ahead in often unpredictable directions. One of these large embers can get into a neighborhood, and the whole thing goes up, in a matter of minutes or an hour. So it's just very difficult for firefighters to keep their eye on all of those little problem spots around the perimeter when it comes to these high winds that we're going to be seeing, and also the low humidity. Luckily, I don't know if you can tell right now, it's not very windy here, but it is going to change by the minute. Those are the unpredictable conditions that we've been dealing with here in California increasingly over the last several years.
Anne, I've never been to the area. It looks so beautiful. It's a place that's always been on my list. You spoke to us just a little bit about, why things could be catastrophic in this area, why it's particularly vulnerable, older homes, log cabins. Can you talk a little bit more about the susceptibility of this area to fire?
Yeah, the terrain is a real problem. There's a lot of steep ravines, and it is part of the charm. Little neighborhoods, little homes dotted amongst some of the hills, and obviously a lot of trees as well. It's very charming, but all of that does create a lot of fire danger, and everything has been so dry with the drought we've been dealing with here in California. So when you drive up, when you look around, you see some of the burn scars from past fires, and it is a reminder, and I think that's why a lot of people that live here did take the evacuation so seriously, because we all know how quickly things can happen, and right now firefighters just have their eye on trying to protect this city economically, culturally. It is a jewel of California.
Anne Makovec, thank you so much. So you can continue to follow this story on CBSN Bay Area. Just download the free CBS News app or head on over to cbsnews.com/live. There you can find all of our CBSN local streams.